This is LOA Recon with Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we explore the ins and outs of conscious creation to manifest our favorite dreams come true. Let's have some fun together. Welcome and thank you for joining me for another episode. I used to listen to a guy on YouTube who would start each of his videos out with the summary of that video's message. So he'd say, if you just want the gist of it, here it is. You don't have to listen to the rest. I liked that so much, I thought it would be nice to do on these episodes too. So the TLDR of this episode is, when things are going well, don't give up the practice that got you there. Okay, sometimes people come to conscious creation as a last resort because nothing else they've tried has worked. They don't know what else to attempt, so they turn to conscious creation as a last resort. And they pick up a vibration management plan, which is just another way of saying they find ways to feel better, whether that's by imagining what they want, or releasing tolerations, or acting as if their dreams already come true, or upgrading their self-talk, or using an affirmation to overwrite gremlin doubts or fears, or just prioritizing joy. Some way, somehow, they start working their vibration to improve their alignment to their desire. And it starts working. Good things start happening for them. It starts to look like their dream's coming true, and maybe it does come to full fruition. And sometimes when they see that it's working, not all the time, but sometimes when things start going their way, they go back to the muggle training about what they think they're supposed to be doing to make it happen. The things that didn't work for them before. Like, they pick up those old action habits again. They dive into the quote unquote real world and they abandon the vibrational practice that got them the traction in the first place. And slowly but surely, the magic starts to seep away. The momentum they thought they had dissipates, or things just don't go well as they were before. Oh gosh, I have my classic example of this. I love this story from Carmela Ramalia. She wrote Happy Calories Don't Count. I don't know if you can still get copies of that anymore. I think the last time I looked, it was hard to track down. Anyway, this was many years ago, tried everything to lose weight. It was really important to her. She was an actress in LA. She tried everything. Nothing worked. She finally gave up and decided that if she's going to be overweight, she's at least going to enjoy it. So she let herself have pizza and ice cream, which had been strictly off limits when she was on her weight loss journey, her attempted weight loss journey that never worked. And you know what? Look, conscious creators can see right through this, right? You can see the LOA at work here, where her vibration management plan, which she probably wasn't calling that at the time. I don't know if she was a savvy creator then or not, but she just chose joy. She chose enjoyment in the form of pizza and ice cream. That was her idea of enjoyment. Plus, we also saw she gave up trying to lose weight, giving up the resistance of pushing against what is, which was her weight, and instead just deciding to enjoy herself rather than continue the fruitless battle against her weight. So she puts pizza and ice cream back on the menu. She's not even trying to lose weight anymore. And you know how this goes. She lost weight. Okay, she lost weight, and then guess what she did? She got excited about losing weight again. She thought, wait, maybe I really can do this. And she went right back to all the muggle practices that hadn't worked for her before. Watching what she ate, exercising more, and she promptly gained it back. Oh, that was the basis of her epiphany that happy calories don't count. Because when she ate for joy, she lost weight. When she was trying to lose weight and eating all the quote unquote right things, it didn't work. I love her story because she's not the only one who's done this. It's just a really good example of how it works, where we used LOA magic to get to a good place, and then we lost our LOA minds and we resorted to muggle actions again. When I was putting notes together for this episode, I thought, I'm probably not going to be able to think of a personal example of when I've done this. Probably not. This is not a routine that I engage. Oh, I only had to go back a few days to come up with one. Listen to this. So I might have already talked about this. I feel like I've shared this somewhere. So maybe you've heard this. I got new chickens and they had mites and lice. And I was pretty worried about that. Oh my gosh, that freaked me out. And then I had two fellow creators remind me, girl, you've got powers. You've got skills. You know what to do here. Thank you, fellow creators. Carrie was one of them. Kate was another. There were probably more than that. Ooh, there was more than that. Anyway, I was just a little out of my mind briefly at first about having mites and lice on the premises. So Then I changed my mind. I decided, no, we don't. We don't have mites or lice. Everything is fine here. This isn't something we have to deal with. I practiced what it felt like to be confident, to feel relief, to feel like it's handled. And then I had the chance to have 2 different avian specialists look at the chickens after that, both of whom confirmed they saw no evidence of lice or mites. Cool. You know what? That didn't feel like a giant relief because I'd already been dialed on relief. I was already telling universe how it was over here. Everything's fine here. No cause for alarm. And then, after the vet said that, like I gave up what got me there, I started thinking, you know what? Maybe just spray just in case. Could it do any harm? Could it? I mean, I had someone spray once, but it was the wrong mix. So it didn't count. So I was like, maybe you should spray for real. And I started researching online. I thought, let's just make sure this stuff is safe to use, like really safe to use, even if you don't need it. So I'm researching online, and in the process, I read a lot of stuff about mites and lice again. I saw a lot of pictures. I heard a lot of stories. And it fed some doubts and fears that weren't all that old. And then I started to look at my chickens' butts in a different way, not for how cute their fluffy little butts are, but for potential problems. You could hear how my momentum shifted, right? First I was freaked out about mites and lice, and then I relaxed about it and decided, no, I don't have them. And then I relaxed even more and decided this is not an issue. I did these are not the droids you're looking for move. And I got good confirmation that all was well here. No mites, no lice. Cool. And then my muggle mind started inserting itself, wanting to take action, wanting to do something, just to be sure, just to be safe. I stopped relying on my focusing skills. I started relying on my researching and my resourcing skills. The total muggle routine. I was like, okay, I know what'll work. I know where to get it. I learned how to apply it. Why shouldn't I just do it? It's not the exact same as Carmela's example, but here I thought, this isn't a routine I fall for. And ta-da, there was a very recent example of it. So what I'm saying here is, when you get to a good place, keep using what got you there. Don't let your conscious creation interventions be temporary, one-off solutions. Let them be a way of life. Let them become habitual. There are so many ways for us to engage our focusing powers to create reality. So many fun ways. There's no reason for us to ever put them down. Even if it's just a habit of appreciation. Every night, this is part of my 3x3 method. I go to sleep just naming my 3 favorite things of the day. And that's after I have posted, usually almost every day I post in the GView forums, my favorite thing of the day. Appreciation. Or maybe it's just having a personal rule of imagining something good before you start the day. That's another one I do. Or maybe it's just pre-paving your preferred outcome before you start something important. Or maybe it's writing a page a day about your big dream as if it's already done. Okay, actually, you know what? That reminds me of another time I did this. You might have heard me tell this story before. I was attracting clients for my coaching practice, and I was pulling out all the stops. I wasn't just pray rain journaling. I was doing every alignment thing I knew to do. I was making journal entries, pray rain journaling. It's where you write a page a day about what you want as if it's already happened. By the time you get to the end of your book, you will either have it or you'll be so close you can reach out and touch it. Okay, so I was pray rain journaling. I was reading my perfect client list. I was affirming. I was acting as if. I was surrounding myself with successful others. And sure enough, I got clients. I built my full-time practice in just 3 months. It was fabulous. And I was a little cocky about it, too. I was like, why does everyone think this is so hard? That wasn't hard. And I stopped my alignment practices because I got what I wanted. Full-time coaching practice. Ta-da! I got perfect clients to work with. I'm getting paid good money to do what I love most. And then, over the next several weeks, I noticed I was getting less inquiries from new prospective clients. And the ones who did inquire weren't exactly a perfect match to my perfect client profile. And after a little bit of that routine, I was like, what is going on here? What has changed? Oh, only everything that I did to get there. I had stopped all my alignment practices. So I picked them up, lickety-split again, and within short order, everything was back the way I liked it. Plenty of perfect people to work with, and I kept that routine up for a full year before it had enough momentum to sustain itself. And I add a little extra juice to it now and again, but mostly those habits are built in. Like when someone would tell a story, a colleague or anyone would tell a story about a client they didn't like, and I would edit that story in my head because I don't want that stuff living in me. Universe is not getting any excuse to mess up my fabulous gig. Or if I felt a little angsty when a client didn't renew their work with me, I just remember plenty more where they came from, just to help me stay open and abundant-minded instead of graspy and scarcity-minded. So I didn't go back to muggle habits once my law of attraction work paid off, but I did learn a big lesson about don't give up the magic that gets you there. And I thought this was a reminder worth sharing. I say that because I'm on a super fun weight loss winning streak right now. I mean, it is just melting off of me. And I know that it's come straight from time spent in my vortex, as Abraham would say, with all the animal joy going on in my life right now. Probably also some Paul McKenna influence. And also some spillover from we just wrapped up the 7-Day Money Manifestor. In there I was activating satisfaction and fulfillment around money. But when you do that on any topic, it's going to spill over to other areas of life, including, I not only had out of the blue money wins, but I also had 2 cats who had been AWOL, came back within 12 hours of each other. Oh, that was nice. Plus these fabulous physical improvements. And it isn't just weight loss, really cool things happening. So anyway, I've got this new body win on board lately. And the other night, Chad suggested mac and cheese for dinner. And you know what thought went through my head? Should you really, Jeanette? With all you've got going on for you, is this really the time for mac and cheese? Okay, that's the kind of thinking. This was not aligned thinking. This was gremlin thinking or muggle thinking. The thinking the actions are what make the difference. That mac and cheese could ruin my party? No, mac and cheese can't ruin my party. All that can ruin my party is my vibration. The efforting, the trying, the plotting, the attachment, or the deprivation. And it's only deprivation if I really did want mac and cheese, which is a good question. Do you want mac and cheese? But I didn't even stop to ask myself what I wanted because my old muggle training knows mac and cheese. That's not how you keep a party going. Salads, fruits, portion control. That's how you keep the party going. My muggle mind knows. But I do know better. I know that this party came from joy. It came from loving life. It came from being highly engaged in something interesting and something I'm passionate about. It came from feeling alive and on purpose. It did not come from watching what I eat or exercising. It came from love of life. So I was reminding myself, Jeanette, don't give that routine up. That's what I'm saying to myself. And I record these things for myself, right? All these messages are good reminders for me, and it helps me live it better when I share it with others. So that's why I'm saying today, I'm suggesting, let's not forget where this win came from. Let's use our alignment powers to get where we want, and then use our alignment powers to continue enjoying it. All right, I hope you got some inspiration from this episode. Thanks for listening, everyone, and happy manifesting.